Welcome back to Pharaoh's Garage. I'm just doing a quick little pop-up live, just for the ever-living hell of it, right? What's going on? Well, you can see here, I got the motor in. Well, it's just in mock-up, but she's sitting there, and you can see here, from there, yep, them air cleaners are going to be well above the hood because, well, I got to get inside the car now. Yeah, this is all backwards from me, but I got to get down inside of the car and I got to cut the tranny hump out of it and raise this up. This engine is actually going way up even more than this. Ah, looks like we got a couple people in here. Hey, Mater, what's going on? Good to see you, brother. Unfinished project. Oh, what's going on, brother? Good to see you. And of course, we got Landon Custom Classics. What's going on, man? He was just over here and helped me push this engine back just a little bit. This is as far back as I can get it right now. So, yeah, I got to get out the whittling tools and start the butchering on this thing. Turbo Tom 416, what is going on, man? I hope that you made it the other night. Yep, I'm going to be in there cutting that tranny hump out. Oh, actually, it was all in the making. I just wanted to get it in there to get an idea where it's going to land. Right now, my tail shaft on that transmission is right at the it's at the second body frame brace. So I'll cut the floor from there all the way forward. And what I'm going to try to do is kink it from there and try to maintain some of the original hump. Plus, well, I got that top loader in there thanks to Stephen Holtz. He brought me a top loader, Ford top loader, 4-speed transmission. So I'm going to have to modify the hump anyway because on those, they sit on the side of the transmission so the linkages all line up. So I'm going to have to build my hump over a little bit to the driver's side a little. And while I'm at it, I'm going to take the tranny hump and go all the way to the dash. And I'm going to reinforce it under the floor there. So it'll kind of be a roll. Yeah, it's just an extra brace. What it is. Anyway, the floor will go across right here at the, well, I guess it'd be the A-pillar, even though these dog leg way over. But at the A-pillar here is where your first floor brace is, and the body frame. And it just terminates at the hump. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it over to where it terminates, and then it's going to go straight up to the dash, and it's going to tie into the dash. And then I'll make a gauge panel in the dash as it comes down into the console and everything. But to get that done, I got to get in there with the whittling tools and start cutting that hump out. Let's see, I get caught back up on the comments here. Funny, I was just mocking an engine just like that one. You're going to go on a live stream Monday? Sure, I'll be there, Turbo. Or Mater. I'm sorry, Mater. Yeah, I've seen Turbo's name up there. Yeah, I'll dive in there for you. Providing I got time. Here lately, I've been out here in my sanctuary quite often. I don't usually roll into the house till about 9 o'clock. Just finished your chugging video, huh? Yeah, see, right there, I seen that one too. That's what my brain, I'm real good at multitasking as long as I only do one thing at a time. GT350R, Rich, what's going on, man? Great to see you. Is that top loader a big block or a small block? I'm not sure. From all I can gather, it's for a Torino. Uh, the number, there's a little bit of the badge numbers that are left on it, and what we can clean off of it looks like probably. Uh, I'll bet you it's a 351 or a Cleveland 351 Cleveland uh, Torino top loader. Whew, you can tell it's hot out here. My brain's kind of fried. Mater, have you applied for a job driving tow trucks? With your name? With your name, they'd have to hire you. All right. Yeah, name like that, that would go. Just spell it a little different and careful to keep Disney off your back. Disney's one company you don't want to screw with. I'm having John Wilburn up on the panel to help the channels that need subs to get them. Sweet. Thanks for all the work there, Mater. Yeah, we're pushing and pulling, trying to get everybody that wants to be over that 500 mark. Breezy's Bike Shop in the house. What's going on, brother? uh, yep, every opportunity you can get to throw your channel out there. I think every FedEx, UPS, and even my mailman, I throw stickers at them and business cards at them. Everybody that comes by the shop. Speaking of which, yeah, if any of you want some of my stickers, just look up my email address, send me your information, and I'll throw some in an envelope and shoot them out to you. It's in my Yahoo email. So sometimes I forget to check the spam filters on that. And Yahoo, they're kind of strict on their spam. They throw all kinds of stuff in there. Auto Salvage Outlaws, what's going on, man? Yeah, there's that picture I sent you just a little bit ago. You asked me for pictures of it when it was all put together, but I had to pull the tunnel ram off to make sure to check for clearances, so I kind of took the other one apart a little bit. It's all covered up over there right now. And for those of you that are a little struggling on getting your 500, my best advice for you is just keep tossing video out there. NSB Customs in the house. What's going on, brother? Like I said, this was just a real quick little pop-up live. I figured I need to get to editing my video. That's what I need to be doing. But I thought I'd just pop in here and give you like a little sneak peek of the video that's coming out. Rusted Junk Garage. What's going on, man? That it was just eating at me to find out just how tall them air cleaners are going to be. As you can see, yeah, they're coming up a good. Well, my target goal in it is to get these valve covers almost to that pinch weld. So she's coming up a good 4 more inches, 3, 4 inches, and back. I guess that'd be back. I mean, trying to get number 2. Well, it'd be number 2 on the other side, but you get what I'm saying. The second exhaust port, that's kind of where I want my spindle at. That way I'm shifting all of the engine weight to the rear. And with it coming up, I'm really going to need to do that. and be on the lookout for a pretty good sized stabilizer. Because when I lift that engine up, that puts a lot of weight up above, so it's going to be a little bit teeter tottery. I don't think that stock little itty bitty uh, sway bar in there is going to do much. Just watch the pinion angle. Yeah, and I'm resetting the rear end too, so it's all. I'm starting this here, and I'm working my way back. I'm going back and forth on whether or not to either four-link it or taking the rear end and setting it under the springs, and then kind of my homemade version of like a Caltrack system. Kind of going both way, either way. Dad, he's trying to talk me into doing ladder bars, flipping the rear end under the springs, and then doing the old school ladder bar look. Kind of like that look too. But I don't want to get the rear end too tall. I want to kind of keep it down a little. Kind of like a tail dragger, kind of is what I'm kind of going for with it. And as I was sitting here, I made the mistake with the lift. I let the car down like this. And with that engine sitting up there like that, I don't know, I think I might, it's in my head now to bag it, to just bag the whole idea. Then I'd have the best of both worlds. All I got to do is run that air pressure up, throw that switch, and I can set the front end up, make a gasser. You know, the gasser front high kind of look. And then if I want it, I can bring her up level. Mater's Workshop, my number one troll. Head over to his channel, give him a sub. Get caught back up on the chat here. Twisted Mopar, I like a 58 Fairlane. Me too. I call them the bastard years. You know, 58, 59, kind of even 60. Those are the years that kind of nobody wanted to play with for a very, very long time. But I don't know. I don't like the 57 Ford. I don't like the looks of the eyebrow headlights. The profile of the car is beautiful. The taillights on a 57 are fantastic. But the front end with those, it makes it look like it's got googly eyes. You know what I mean? So I never was really fond of the 57 Ford. Pontiac was the same way. I didn't never really like the Pontiac because of the same reason. They had that little eyebrow thing that sat up above the headlights. Made them look weird. But in 58, when they went to the dual headlights and sunk them down inside, oh yeah. In my opinion, the 58 Ford has got the best looking grille. And by far, hands down, the best hood that Ford ever made on their standard cars. That built-in hood scoop is just, I love that. And that's what's going to be towing this car around, is an actual Fairlane. This one is actually a Tudor. It's the basic model. It's almost the same thing as a Fairlane. It's a little bit shorter. I think they're like 6 inches shorter than a Fairlane. And some of the Fairlanes had this style of trim on it. The one that I've got that's going to be towing it is actually a club sedan. It's got I call it a Corvette scallop type chrome trim on it. These ones had the straight up B pillars. They were just a basic car. I mean, there's not even door pulls in it. No radio, no door pulls. A lot of them came with heater deletes in them. Uh, if if you wanted to strip down absolute 200% basic car, this is what you got. Which is why they use these ones in the NASCAR. Let's see, get caught up on it. Some of my favorite Fairlanes. Yep. Now the years below that, 55, 56. Oh, they're beautiful. I love the way the chrome the chrome trims on those ones rolled all the way up to the tops of the fenders. Like on the Crestliners and those. Whew, they were one sexy car. Yep, good old dual headlights. '59, there's a lot of stuff that the '59 shares with the '58 and the '57, but they did change quite a bit in '59. They got wider. The body got wider. Frame is the same, but the body grew over them a little bit. '59, they got the big wide fenders up to the hood. And for some reason, they blanked out the hood. They made it all one piece, all the way down to the grill. And they did away with the hood scoop. I don't know why they did that. But '59s are beautiful too. '59 Ranchero. Uh, there's an old movie, Andrew Dice Clay movie called Ford Fairlane, and that's what he has in it, is a '59 Ford Fairlane. Beautiful car. That's one of those hidden car movies that, very few people talk about. Yeah, you know what? I done forgot to put the invite out here. Let's just go ahead and get that done up right there. There we go. There's the invite. If anybody wants to pop on in, go ahead, pop on in. I'm not going to run this live very long, but it was just I was sitting out here in the shop about ready to clean up and go back in the house. And I said, yeah, let's go live for a while. Mr. Buck does it. What's going on, brother? I see you run into a little trouble with your wheel studs. Oh, I've had that happen before. Go to install them, and I almost seen the look on your face. You're turning away a little bit, but I can only imagine it. When you drop that wheel stud in there, expecting it, to hit, so you smack it, and it goes floop. I have been there and done that, man. Heat's supposed to break here tomorrow. It was 101 here today, huh? We've actually got a little bit cooler this week. I think it was up in the upper 80s today. But the humidity came up. Oh, you see, my shirt, everything is wet. Which reminds me, I gotta drain my compressor tonight. Ordered first, measure later. I hear you, man. Let's see. I gotta pin that up there. Mute that. Over here. Your channel. There we go. I gotta keep telling everybody, well, someday I'll actually get this all organized, but what the heck. There we go. But that's where I'm at on it so far. You can see my handy 2x4 temporary motor mount there. And zip ties, 2x4s and zip ties for big block Ford motor mounts. I don't think they'll pass tech. That link's up there. If anybody wants to hop on in, go ahead and hop on in. Ugh. In the meantime, here, get a little walk around. One good thing with her sitting where she's at now, bottom of my oil pan is plenty above all of that. So even if she comes down and bottoms out or anything like that, I'm a good inch above any of the frame structure, the cross member and all that stuff. So I'm well above. And unlike the Fairlane out there that I'm putting the 460 in, with I'm raising it up like this, I got plenty of room in here to get the exhaust. I've got to get a set of big block Chevy fender well headers for Tri-Fi. And I'm going to get Ford flanges for them. I'm going to cut those Chevy flanges off of them and weld Ford flanges on them. I'm pretty sure, well, like I said, she's still coming up a good probably 3 inches. That should give me plenty enough room to clear these if I still use these. If I don't, I've already cut one off the other side. I'm dang near cut this one off. But if I don't use these, I'll be running the straight axle. I've already got the straight axle set over there. I was in the process of mocking that all in, but I'm going back and forth on which way to steer it. My dad brought up a really good point while he was over here. If I use a GM box, like a 4-wheel drive GM box, I can mount the steering box here and run my drag link back this way. Just reverse it around and push it. That'll open it up, clean it all up in here for the exhaust, the brakes, everything like that. It's a lot easier to get a steering column to moving around than it is to get everything up and around here, because I got the clutch here, I got the exhaust coming out here. It gets really, really busy in this little bitty area. And I've got about 3 or 4 of those GM steering boxes, so the price on them is real good. Let's see, get caught back up on here. Indirect connection. Where you at, Jason? Where'd you go? There you are. Good to see you, man. Busted Radio Garage is in the house. What's going on, man? The other BRG. I was just telling Landon that today. Oh, great to see you, man. Hubcap Cafe. Good to see you, man. Yeah, if any of you have any questions about it or ideas, suggestions, I don't know. What are you guys thinking about? Think about bagging it instead of going solid front axle. I'm kind of on the fence either way. Because when this car's all done, I mean, the cam I'm putting in it is going to top out at 5,000 RPM. It's not going to be anything super hard hitting on the drag strip. I do have a set of slicks I can put under it, but really those slicks will just be for burnouts. Those big old velocity stacks, I have no idea where he got them from. They are K&N. It came with the tunnel ram. But good Lord, they are monsters. They are absolutely huge. At first, I was thinking about trading them off to anybody who had a bug catcher, a 3 or 4 butterfly bug catcher. But the more I look at it on there, it's like a total cartoon car now, and I kind of like that. Will this car be at the No Name Nationals? Probably not this year. The delay I had on getting the tunnel ram set me way behind on this car. So it just ain't going to be ready for this year. But next year, it will definitely be there. I'm going to go there. I'm going to bring a set of tires, and I'm going to burn them until they go. And I've got a few other special things coming just for the burnout competition. Some of our old sandrail stuff. I'm going to put independent brakes on the back of it, steering brakes. So hopefully I can make this thing almost stand on one back tire and spin around. And just smoking them up. Because that really is the whole purpose of this build. I'm building a burnout car that might go down the track every once in a while. As long as old Deke's got, one eye closed while he's looking it over, it might work. You want those big old velocity stacks? You should have got a hold of me about a month ago before I actually set it down on the car there. But now I'm looking at it with that level sitting up on top of there. It just changed the whole opinion on them. I kind of like them now. And I've looked for them online, and I can't come up with anything on them for that size. What I'd like to do is get them valve covers up above the fenders, but I don't think I can lift it that high. In fact, I know for sure I can't get it that high. Those fenders are up here. That's quite a ways further I got to go with it. Nah, that just ain't happening. So yeah, unfortunately, this car won't make it to this year's No Name Nationals. I'm still planning on being there. Probably be as a spectator again this year, but that's quite all right. Being a spectator at the No Name Nationals is worth every penny. Listening while cooking dinner. Yeah, that's what I'm supposed to be doing in there. That's why I said this live here, it'll be kind of short. And it was just a total seat of the pants pop up one anyway. You know, Busted, I was looking at an engine plate for the 460, but it mounts off of the uh, timing cover, the water pump, to be precise. And I don't like that design. On a Chevy, yeah, I would be more than willing to run an engine plate on a Chevy because they bolt right into the bosses and everything. It's a good, solid, rock hard mount. On these 460s, those are little bitty 5/16 bolts holding that big old timing cover on up there. I don't know if I trust that. And they're a pain in the butt anyway, so I don't want to put any extra strain on them. Oh, one of the worst things to do with these big block Fords is change the damn timing chain or even a water pump on them. I slather them bolts up good with anti-seize. And I got a whole bunch of extras that I keep, spare ones that I keep on hand just in case, because it's inevitable that you usually break at least one or two of them. And because I'm not going really hard radical with it, horsepower, torque wise, I think I'm just going to run 69 to 73 Torino 429 engine mounts in it. I'm thinking going that way, or I'll use the 77 E series van style motor mounts for it. Now I got a set of them here somewhere. I had them here and was just looking at them. The thing I like about the E series ones is they're a double pin instead of a single pin. Those Torino mounts are a single pin. Oh, here it is. Out here in my shop, I'll dig around and I'll find something is somewheres, anywhere. It's probably digging around my feet. But you see on them, they got the double pin that fits in onto the frame. And when they bolt on with all three of the bosses. And the nice thing about these ones, too, is you can mount them either way. You can mount them upside down to give it a high mount, or you can flip the engine motor mount part over and drop the engine down a little. And it's a standard, like a GM, one bolt through type, instead of the regular Ford type. This is the frame mount. Yeah, all of us guys that have dealt with Ford knows what that is. That teardrop there. Yeah, the bolt comes in and it self-centers and it lines itself up. Those things are a nightmare to get welded in there right, because they got to keep that true plane. And with one pin holding it in there, I know Ford put a lot of faith in it, but yeah, I like the double. I'm going back and forth on that, of which ones to use. More than likely, it's going to be the doubler, not only for the added torque support, but if I have to pull the motor, I like that one pin, unbolt it, pull the bolt out, get the motor out of there. These, you got to drop in one side, and then you reach over with a big bar and you drop the other side in, and it's, yeah. And all the while you're thinking, oh God, don't screw them threads up. Oh, okay, get back over here onto the comments so I didn't miss anybody here. My dad was trying to talk me into using the 87 up 460 motor mounts, truck mounts. But those suckers are like that freaking big. They're huge. But there's multi attachment points in it, and it's kind of a soft rubber mount. They're a lot like the one I just showed you, but they're freaking huge. But his point was, building an exhibition car like this, they stretch. So you'll get engine movement out of it. And while it's sitting there idling, you get a lot of movement out of them. But they won't come apart. They can't come clear apart because of the way they're designed. And like I said, they got multiple attachment points in them. But it kind of gives a little show, is that you see them velocity stacks up there pulling off to one side as it goes down. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to do that. I'm going to stick with the ones that are a little more solid than that. And they're not polys, so as it's going down the road, because this car will be driven, it's not going to be strictly a race car. So as I'm going down the road, I'll be able to read the speedometer as it's going down the road, and they won't, like solid mounts and poly mounts, they vibrate so bad that it vibrates the old stock needle. Could you box off the frame, then attach them up? It's actually all boxed off in there. It's a total boxed frame on these years. Kind of like a Tri-Fi Chevy. And this pipe that they stuck in there, and they bent down and around, it comes right in where that motor mounts come in. So what I'll do is I'll build a tower a lot like this, just using the pad off of it. And one side will come down and attach to that. Oh, get the comment out of the way so you can see what I'm talking about. There, you can see it right there. That cross member pipe right there. I'll take the plasma and I'll cut into a piece like this. It's not, obviously not the one. And then it'll come up on the other side and catch the box frame on that spring pocket right there. And then I'll fill in another piece here, gusset it in super heavy. That'll hold that motor in there beyond what good. Now up front on the where it terminates, right here, this is where the box ends. It stops being a box tube right here. If I run the straight axle, I'm going to have to finish this off and box this in. And I'll put my spring mount right here. And then if I put the steering box up here. And it's narrower. So I don't know. That one, that's a head scratcher. That one will take some thinking. I've seen that. They look like a giant hose clamp, just like you're saying there. And then you just hit it, zip, zip, and then jerk them right out. They throw them on the stand, tear them completely apart, and throw another one down in the car, send it, And by the time the car comes back, they've got that engine rebuilt. They zip that one out. They throw another that one that they just built back into it and send it again. Oh, busted. I think I think you and my dad are kind of in tuned with each other because he was trying to get me to do that too. But the bad thing about zoomies is you lose your bottom end. You gain on the top end, but you lose a lot of bottom. We did that with Sir Rat, our 51 Chevy Rat Rod. It's got a 460 in it too, and it's got the zoomies on it. You can tell when it had the long tubes on it, you could just idle around and lay into it, and it would just kick off and go. Now that it's got the zoomies on it, you got to spin her up a little to get it to lay you back in the seat now. But when she comes alive, she comes alive. I've used 3/8 chain to keep a tension with the big turnbuckles. Yep, that's what was on Dad's 55. Because it had the bell housing mounts and the forward mounts. Bolted to the tab, welded to the frame. Yep, did the same thing. And it gives you that effect too, because when it come up, the frame flex a little bit, and motor mounts, and then a little bit of chain flex, and you see them air cleaners kick over to one side, and it's just violent. And yeah, it's cool. Oh. White long tube zoomies. It's tempting. I'll give you that much. I would do that if it was strictly a race car, but yeah, I got all the glass except for the windshield. Unfortunately, that's about a $600 windshield with the gasket and everything, and shipping. Colored plexiglass though, yeah, give it that red tint. Because the car's going black and red. Well, you already seen the engine when it's all painted up. It's all black and red, old hot rod colors. Thinking about doing the roof of the car. I've got a can of metallic. It's called molten red, heavy metallic. It's got big metal flake in it. I was thinking about doing the top roof of the car with the red, and backwards. Down below, from this body line down, using that as my paint brake, this will all be satin black or boulevard black, or whatever you want to call it. Black here. Unfortunately, I was thinking of black roof. I hate black roofs, but yeah, it's the only way I can think of doing this. Doing it black there, black top, and then in this section here, up to probably the roof, the drip rail, that'd all be that molten red, heavy metallic. Do you think the white would look good up there? I've been thinking about that too, because I hate a black top. Oh, lace the top with the heavy metallic. Now there's something that hasn't been done in a long time. That's an idea. I kind of like that. I think I got a set of curtains too that the wife doesn't quite know about, and it's got a nice lace pattern in it. That's the cool thing about doing these lives. Get you all kind of ideas. And in fact, I think it's in that box right there, right next to that old, that's a sewing machine right there. I think it's in that box right there. Never bored S10 addict. What's going on, man? Yeah, a tunnel ram just says, oh, just old school cool. I've looked into one, there's a company out there too on the colored plexiglass. They make a stick on temporary. I think they call it temporary tint or something like that. Never used the stuff before. I was kind of thinking maybe trying it, and it does come in other colors. If nothing else, it will have tinted windows. They'll be green because the stock windows I got for it are all in easy eye green. The factory Ford tint back. Oh, everybody used it back then. Lace and snakeskin combo. Just go all out on the roof, huh? It's the straightest part of the car. It's the only part that ain't got no rust in it. So I wouldn't have to worry about body work. I could just go to town up there and do all kinds of, yeah. I like the way you guys think. Hey, Jason, good to see you, man. Depending on the lace, wash it and starch, huh? Starch it up real good, give it so it comes off a lot easier. And the beauty of it is it's actually a rat rod. So if it screws up a little bit, so what? Bury it and clear. It don't matter. Just paint the whole car Harbor Freight green with yellow and orange trim. Oh, good Lord. That would be something. Look like a John Deere hit an Allison Chalmers. That molten red metallic, metal flake metallic I got, O'Reilly's used to carry it at one time. It's in those little cans, you know, that are pre-mixed. Once you open them, you got to use them. I think I've had it forever. It was on clearance when I bought it. It was like $10 for a bucket of it. I went ahead and got it. Keeping the factory mirrors, yeah. Or it's about, it's just barely big enough. And the other one, the Fairlane that I got, it's got the fender mount mirror. It sits right about here. And I'm going back and forth on whether to put one on the passenger side or not. I don't know. Boy, that it would, Mater. And with green, you're really limited on what colors really go with it. But oddly enough, yellow does. I think if I was to do it green like that, I'd have to do yellow flames. Yellow to blue flames instead of yellow to red, because red and green don't belong together. Actually, I was thinking about lettering onto the back of it. If you can read this, something went terribly, terribly wrong. uh, because really, on a quarter mile, I'm guessing this would be about a 13, maybe 12-second, 13, 12-second car. I'm not building super hot like that. The cam I got set up for it, it's just enough cam to make that tunnel ram work on there. But the good thing is, you can see right there, I did get another internally balanced 460. And what I'm going to do with this one's going to the machine shop. And I'm going to have it cut. And those dove heads that I got are actually going on this full build here. And I'll have those because they got to be decked quite a bit. They've got a lot of pit in them, and looks like either number 1 or number 8, depending on what side it was on. It let loose, and it scarred the head pretty good. So that one's got to be cut down quite a bit, and so I thought, set of flat tops, and this one right here has got to be built anyway. So I'll deck this block with those dove heads, and then I'll build one a lot stouter. Paint a big S on it. That way everyone can say, look at the S-car go. As it slowly snails away into the distance. A big S, and then paint Soya Emprendedor on the back. And the name of the car, it's either going to be Ugly Kid Mo or Cat's Cradle. I'm going back and forth on either one of them. Harry Chapin Carpenter's version of that song is just a little bit on the mellow side, but Ugly Kid. Joe's version is a little bit more grit to it. And like I said, this whole build is kind of a tribute to all of you guys that have been with me and to my dad. That's kind of where I came up with Cat's Cradle or Ugly Kid Mo instead of Ugly Kid Joe. Let's see, make sure I'm not behind on the chat there. Well, I think that's about where I'll end it for tonight. I'd like to thank everybody for coming in. Thanks for all the advice and all of the, sometimes, you sit out here in the shop and you get to thinking about it too long and you're all by yourself. sometimes weird things can happen. So it's good to have a second opinion or somebody to tell you, whoa, wait a minute, that's a little too far. So all the feedback tonight, I'm sure appreciated everybody. And well, I'm going to button this up and go in there and get dinner started and go to editing the videos I made up for today. Everybody stopped in. Thanks again. And we'll do this again. In the meantime, get out there and get some metal hot. And try not to lose your mind while you're doing it. Otherwise, you do stupid, weird things like this, like sticking your air cleaners up above the roof rails. We'll catch y'all in the next one.